This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you by Out-of-the-Box Technology. Out-of-the-Box Technology is your partner in accounting data services. With over 7,500 industry migrations performed and an expansive network of third-party integrations, a partnership with Out-of-the-Box will augment your advisory practice and turbocharge client accounting operations. Visit outoftheboxtechnology.com/insightful-accountant to get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast. My name is Gary DeHart. I am the publisher of Insightful Accountant and the host of the Accounting Insiders podcast. And my guests today are Tim Sines and Kaleb Bruckner. Tim is a CPA and now an IT guy. I guess I say now, it's probably been more than a minute on being the IT guy. But so Tim has a CPA firm as well as is a founder or co-founder of Mango. What's the right term there, Tim? Founder. Okay, so the founder of Mango. And then Kaleb Bruckner is the brand director for ProfitSolv. So gentlemen, both thank you. Thanks for taking a little bit of time and joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Before we dive in, we've got some rapid fire questions we're going to go through. I'd like just, Tim, if you could just give a little bio about yourself, about your firm, and about Mango. So you're a unique guest in that you kind of have two perspectives, right? You've got the firm owner perspective, the CPA in the trenches doing the work, then also from an IT perspective. So you can kind of see, again, both sides of the coin. And I'm sure the IT side probably butts heads with the firm owner side on occasion. So how about just a little background from you, and then we'll let Kaleb share some, and then we'll dive in.
Sure. Thanks for being with you again, Gary. Happy to be here. So a little background on myself. Coming up on 36 years as a practicing CPA. I was lucky or unlucky enough to start my own firm at age 27. At that time, believe it or not, there wasn't a whole lot of practice management solutions out there. And what was out there, I just wasn't happy with. So didn't really study formally in college for developing and programming, but I tried to start developing my own application way back in the, I guess it was late 80s, early 90s. And it was the first iteration was DOS. Technology changed. We went to Windows, and technology changed again. And now the third iteration's in the cloud. So it's been a very good journey for me. I've had the opportunity to practice. The firm mainly does accounting, tax, and payroll services. I've always been very, very up, or try to stay up to date with technology and try to be as efficient as possible. And managing my firm, I got up to actually 7 people at one point in time within the firm. So managing projects, tracking time, and things like that became very important as my firm grew. I was lucky enough through the years to develop Mango and Mango Practice Management, as it's now called. And when it moved into the cloud about 7 years ago, it's been very, very successful. A lot of features to the platform now. Just a quick recap on Mango. It's a full practice management solution. It has all the core features of time tracking, invoicing, cash collections with integrated cash payments, electronic payments that are tightly integrated into the platform. We have project management in the platform for managing projects. We also have a full-fledged document management solution with eSig, and being able to get your documents securely from your clients and request signatures from your clients. And we now have a new feature that we've just come out with is engagement letters, which allows firms to create their engagement letters in batch, auto-renewal, get those engagement letters out to your clients, and get paid electronically. So with our integration with electronic payments, that's all tightly integrated into that solution for engagement letters. And then another great feature is capacity planning. So as practice management and the tools out there become better and better, we can now have budgets at the client level, the engagement level. We can push these budgets all the way down to the project level, to the task level. And as these budgets are set up at the task level, we can now measure capacity of staff. So a big new feature that we have is called capacity planning, whereby managers can see the capacity of staff for a given day, week, and easily move things around within the firm. So that's I don't know if that was a short or a long overview, but that's my background.
Yeah, well, we're done here. All right, thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, Caleb, we ran out of time.
That's okay. That's
Sorry,
okay.
Caleb.
So, Caleb, what about you? What's your give your short bio and who you work for, and how Mango fits into that parent company?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kaleb Buckner. I am the brand director for ProfitSolv. I've been with ProfitSolv for right at 2 years. And before my time with ProfitSolv, I actually had a marketing agency, ran that for about 10 years, really successful. We worked a lot with accountants, lawyers, and that legal or that pro-serve industry quite a bit. And one thing I noticed is that those specific industries, they work really hard. And oftentimes they spend most of their time chasing to get paid. So when this opportunity came up to work with ProfitSolv, I jumped at it, and it's been a fantastic experience. For those of you that don't know, Gary, you're a little privy to this. ProfitSolv is our parent company, so that's who I work for, and we actually have a family of brands, software solutions that help the legal industry, the accounting industry, and all of professional services run a better, more profitable practice, a better firm. I often say those people who are running their firms, they probably have this dream firm in mind that they've always wanted to have. And within the family of brands under ProfitSolv, Mango being one of those, they have an opportunity to actually have that dream firm that they've always wanted to build. So coming up on about a little over a year, actually, working specifically with Mango. I've gotten to work with Tim and the entire development team and the sales team. And it's just fantastic to see not only where Mango has been and how they have evolved almost every year, but especially where they're going and how they're going to serve the accounting industry going forward. So really excited.
And so, and this wasn't on our cheat sheet. This isn't a cheat sheet question. So I'm going to start. First question is going to be completely out of left field, but it's based on kind of your description there around ProfitSolv. So it's kind of a question for both of you, and that is, are you sharing? I imagine you would be sharing resources, right? So if there's something on the legal side that is an amazing tool that's been in the legal software that's been needed in accounting, is that a pretty easy move?
Yeah,
sharing that technology.
Yeah, that's what makes it so valuable. And I mean, lawyers and accountants, they are very different. They have different needs. They're both unique. And accountants, you can ask one accountant and the other accountant, they're going to have unique needs between the two of them. But what's been so valuable to having ProfitSolv as a place where we can go to and collaborate, it's given us opportunities to expand our features, expand new processes, some that our customers don't even see. So it's been a huge resource investment for us to be able to have these teams that have built successful businesses before they joined ProfitSolv. Now it's almost like we're going to the clubhouse and we're sharing secrets and learning, hey, this is how we solve that engineering problem, or hey, this is how we solve that billing problem back 3-4 years ago. We figured it out, and now we're able to provide that type of information to all of our sister companies. And it's I would definitely say, Gary, that it's helped us move faster than we ever thought we could.
I bet. And so, Tim, with your self-taught IT, and I'm not minimizing that at all, but like going from being a self-taught IT guy to having these types of resources, has that doubled, tripled your ability to add on and to build what Mango does?
It's been tremendous. It's been tremendous to leverage, as Kaleb said, all the resources from the other sister companies. Again, there's so many different ways to do things out there, and to be able to share ideas of better ways to do things has been tremendous. Just having more heads in the game and more knowledge, a bigger knowledge base has been very, very helpful. There's so many ways we've leveraged, from the electronic payments piece, how we've made that so much better for all of us that are using that. We do have have, I guess, skin in the game with the Mango payments, if you want to say that we can control a lot of that process with electronic payments, that makes it a better feature set in our platform, a better offering in our platform as far as having that integration. So yeah, it's been really good to work around people that specialize, like Kaleb, in the marketing end of it. We have our IT people that know engineering and can leverage, whether it be AWS or whatever that technology may be. We have so many different devs. We can leverage the technology from the dev team. We leverage customer service. How do we do customer service better? How do we do implementations better? So we're able to share this across all the different portcos, portfolio companies, and it's just helped us to move at a much faster pace.
And when did Mango become part of ProfitSolv?
I think we're a little bit over 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, a little over 3 years is when we were bought out by private equity. Private equity became part of ProfitSolv.
Okay, great. And so, so how was, we're at the end of January, it's January 31st, 2024. How was 23? How did 23 end up? And let's talk about both again with you, Tim, two hats. So how'd it go as an accounting firm, and how'd it go with Mango?
Let me let Kaleb start with that, because he's seen it from the sales side and how we've grown tremendously and all the accomplishments we've made there. I'll let Kaleb start with that.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that stood out for me for 2023, Gary, is first and foremost our opportunity to just talk with customers. That was something that we, at least on the sales and marketing side, we didn't have that opportunity nearly as much. And when I took over Mango, that was my mission. I wanted to understand more about that accountant, that timekeeper, that user, and understanding like what problems are we actually solving for them. And one of the biggest things was one of the biggest things that stood out to me for 2023 is how simple and easy everything was for them when it came to running their practice. Everything was all in one place. They didn't have to go to multiple platforms to get information. They didn't have to worry about spending time looking through file cabinets or having to go into the office. I mean, I know it's technically 2024, but COVID wasn't that long ago, right? And we had to experience that that mind shift of working from home and working remotely. And I think that now that we're past that, we're out of that fog, so to speak, we're starting to see like, oh, wow, being able to be accessible to basically my business from anywhere at any time is very important to me. And so looking back at 2023, that was one thing that stuck out, speaking to our customers, speaking with friends here where I live who own accounting firms. That was something that they continue to bring up. From the sales, specifically from our sales and marketing side, I do think that the engagement letters, that feature that Tim alluded to, was a huge piece. Usually that's truly that first step into building a relationship with that client. You're basically setting the stage for what that relationship is going to look like long term. And the fact that we were able to build that and build it with excellence and get that off the ground has definitely been a feather in our cap for 2023.
Yeah, and so how about on the practice side, Tim? Did you have a good year?
Yeah, fantastic year. And like Kaleb said, a lot more people with cloud-based solutions are working in different locations now, whether it's by choice or not. And some staff are actually working out of the office like they used to, going out to the client site and working. So, the big improvements in the technology now and things that we've added to the platform allow them to progress through a project. For example, what tasks are being done on the project? It could be done from anywhere. And people within the organization are getting notified with email notifications. So with all the changes in technology, it's just allowed firms to really operate more efficiently, see improvements with realization rates and things like that, if they are tracking their time accurately, and how they're doing invoicing to their client. I think payments is a big piece. We've talked to many CPA firms. Their collection time has shrunk. They're actually collecting payments faster now versus mailing things out, waiting for a check in the mail. So that's been all these things with project management, electronic payments, engagement letters has just led to more efficiencies within the firm. And all this has really happened within the last year or two.
Right.
So I think as we do demos now with firms and they see some of these features now, they're blown away with what they can do and how they can automate things. As simple as getting your statements out to your clients, we now automate the process. You don't need to go in and review what clients have late invoices. We do that lifting for the firm. We go out, any client that has a late invoice, we automatically email out the statement to the client, and they can click in the body of the email and make a payment. So little things like that, it's just allowed firms to really make headway in managing their practice much better. So
Yeah.
the big takeaway real quick for 2024 is just all the technological advances on the platform.
Yeah, I was going to say, Tim, like AI and automation, that has become such a hot topic. And I know there's a little bit of hesitancy around that because, hey, do I have control over the AI within these workflows or the automations? Like, how in control am I still? Because that people, accountants still care about that. And I think that as we are starting to see, we've talked about this before, but the amount of people who are coming out of college, who are entering into that accounting profession, that's starting to shrink, and we're starting to see that. So I'd say if I could add another takeaway from 2023 is trying to solve that talent shortage a little bit is really important for us. And one easy way to do that that's extremely cost effective is by building automation into your practice. And so I think that was kind of the underlying theme throughout the entire 2023 calendar year is how can we automate more? How can I do more with less? And that's still a challenge. That's still something, Gary, that every firm is going to be talking about for probably the next couple of years. I don't think it's going away, but it's not getting solved tomorrow. But I do think it's something that we're continuing to look at and try to learn from and figure out how can we apply that to the software and our practice if you're an accountant, but also how could I apply it in the next 1 to 5 years?
The big thing you mentioned, Caleb, the talent shortage. So with the technology, you can now hire outside of your area. You don't have to hire within your area. So with cloud-based technology and the solutions that are out there to get documents securely, documents in the cloud, I mean, you basically can have somebody doing monthly accounting across the country in another state. So you make the documents available. They can do the accounting out of the office, track time out of the office, update the project out of the office in a remote location. So all these things are changes that we're now seeing, is that you're not restricted to just people working in the office anymore.
Accounting firms are turning into software companies, Tim, because in days of old, we would have to be in office together we work at software companies, and we're spread out across the entire United States. We've got people offshore, near shore, and now accountants, that's the industry that's starting to get into, hey, I can find really great accountants, really great bookkeepers, and they don't have to be in my town. They have access to everything I have access to.
Correct.
So let's talk about, since you touched, Caleb, on automations, and if you sit in on any webinar in this space, you're going to hear AI and or automations. What does that actually look like? Let's say I've heard the term, but I'm not really software forward. I'm still kind of doing my thing the way I've always done it. And I hear automation. Well, if I don't have a baseline of what automation is, then it's just a word. Can you guys explain what that is for an accounting firm? And we'll use Mango as an example of how it's used.
You want me to take that one, Caleb?
Yeah, why don't you take that one, Tim?
Okay. My number one automation. Now we have many automations, but my number one is we're all moving towards fixed fee billing. Subscription type billing is the buzzword out there. And we have a feature in the software called recurring invoicing. We've always had recurring invoicing, whereby you can set up your monthly invoice and process 100 or 1,000 invoices with the touch of a button. And automation that we've now added is now, in addition to that scheduled recurring invoice, now you can set up a scheduled payment. So this is basically invoicing on autopilot, so to speak. So what happens is, if you want to get paid on the 5th of the month, we get a signal that that payment has been collected. We automatically create the invoice. We automatically apply the payment, and optionally, we can automatically release the time. So that's a huge automation. You're basically eliminating somebody within your firm of having to mail out invoices or email out invoices or process those invoices or even do the cash receipt. So that's a big automation. Number one automation for me. Other automations, as I mentioned earlier briefly, was the statement. So, we all want to get paid. Unfortunately, we have some clients that go past the due date. It happens. We, in the middle of the night, have an automation that will automatically email out client John Doe. And if he doesn't pay, he's going to get reminded in 5 days. You can set the interval 5, 10, 15 days. So now that's an automation. It just happens automatically. It's on autopilot. We had a firm turn that on, reduce their AR tremendously just by turning that feature on. All they had to do is click a checkbox and the cash flow started rolling in. And they reduced their over 90, but they didn't let anything get past 40, 45 days anymore because the system had the automation built in. Yeah. So that's an example. We have other automations. I think those are some top ones. We have automatic email automations, notifications that happen at certain times. Budgeting, if certain triggers happen within budgeting, we have automations that Caleb is going to be notified that we're 80% of budget or we're 110% of budget. So a lot of other automations. Basically, it's putting your firm's practice management. A lot of it's on autopilot. It takes a lot of the thinking out of it.
Yeah, well, think about the time. Let's just talk about invoicing for a second, because for me, Tim, that's my favorite feature too. Think about the time you spend sending invoices out, whether it's electronically or physically. If it's physically, you can 3, 4, maybe 5x that time that you're spending printing these invoices off. You've probably got an admin or an office manager or an assistant helping you do this. And by the way, their time is, you're paying them at an hourly rate. Right. So you're spending all this time printing off this information, or at least aggregating it on your computer and then sending out these invoices to every single one of your clients. That takes so much time, and I don't believe any accountant should be doing that. I think they deserve better. If you're an accountant and you're listening to this, you deserve better than to spend all that time wasting on sending out invoices. You should spend most of your time, actually doing the accounting work that you feel like is your purpose in life to do, and collecting money, and when you can eliminate some of that invoicing, some of that laborious, admin work, what that's going to do, that's going to free you and your employees, whether it's an admin, office worker, assistant, up to do more revenue generating tasks, because that's not really generating any new revenue. That's just collecting on all the work that you've already done, right? And so it's a mind shift. It's definitely going to take time, but that's one thing that you can tell I get really excited about this, because it provides a sense of peace to the firm owner. And it also helps, your customers probably do want to pay, but I'll admit it. I'll be the first to admit I've forgotten to pay something before. And that reminder helps me, make that payment.
I can't remember the last time that I've actually emailed or mailed out a physical invoice, to be honest with you. It's been several years that I've even mailed an invoice out. And another thing I want to throw out is with the technology and the automations that we're talking about, the big push now is to get to zero AR. If you're on automated scheduled payments and you're getting paid, you're not sending your client's going to get a copy of the invoice if you want them to get a copy of the paid invoice, but there is no AR. And I know you're in tax season and you're doing tax returns, you email out the invoice, you should be getting paid almost immediately for that. So the whole push now is to really try to achieve 0 AR if possible.
Yeah, when I ran my marketing agency, we ran basically on fixed fee billing, and we didn't have this system in place. And I can say from my experience as the business owner, I spent most of my time trying to collect.
Yeah.
And very little time working on ways to improve my team, develop my team, network and build relationships, and bring in new business. Most of my time was trying to get the money that I'd already done the work for. Yeah. And that was very frustrating.
Isn't that why you started your business? Was
right? Try
to collect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Should have started a collection agency instead. And then you would have been like, I'm in my core. This is what I started my business to do. Yeah. So, all right. So we talked about talent shortage a little bit and how kind of the cloud really helps fill that gap, right? And having a solid back-end solution that works, cloud-based. Capacity planning. Now, again, not being a CPA, I know in my mind what capacity planning is, but from a CPA's perspective, what is capacity planning and why is it important?
You want me to take that, Caleb, or you want to take a stab?
You're the CPA. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, we've always had project management. We all have projects within the firm, and we have staff that are assigned to different tasks to get that project done, whether it be scanning documents, doing the tax return, who's going to review the tax return, who's going to get the 8879s, the authorizations filed, whatever the task might be. What capacity does is take project management one step further. We call it project management or budgeting version 2. We've taken it to the next level with capacity. So as I talked about a little earlier, now you can put a budgeted time on each task of what you would like for your staff to get that task completed. So now with capacity, you can now, as tasks are becoming due in a day or week or a month, you can see the capacity of each staff level. And it's very visible in a dashboard, and it's very easy to manage that. If you have, for example, a person might get COVID, they might become ill, they've been assigned all these tasks. How easy is it to see visually all the tasks, all the hours that have been assigned to that staff person? What was their capacity? And now I want to be able to reassign that. And who has the capacity that I can actually give this additional work to? So capacity planning is basically looking at the budgeted time. You can also, the beauty of it is using the tool is now you can see if you're over or under that budget. And why are we over or under that budget? Why are we spending more time on this task? Based on our engagement, do we have any language in the engagement that if we run into problems on the engagement that we can make an adjustment to that amount? So without all this information, you lose a little bit of that leverage. So the more information's king. The more information you have, the better. But basically, the takeaway is with capacity planning for larger firms, or even small firms, 2 to 5 people, you could literally do it for yourself if you wanted to. What is my own capacity as a solo practitioner? But it's just basically giving you insight as to what I have scheduled for today, what I have scheduled for this week, and to juggle those tasks around. You might not be able to get to everything in a given day or a week, and I need to push that into next week. But at least I have it in my pipeline, and I can work it through that pipeline and get it to the finish line. So,
okay. How do you do, Caleb?
He did fantastic. I think when it comes to capacity planning, Gary, a good way to think of it is allocating your team's resources. Okay, you've got a team of people that are working on stuff. You may have visibility as of right now, you may not. But what happens if that team member's out? What happens? Emergencies happen. That's life, right? And you have to consider these things when these problems arise. How am I going to get the work done if John Doe's out and he's planning on doing all of these returns? He's working on all these returns. We gotta pivot. We gotta be able to be fast and agile and make some changes so we get the necessary work done that we've prioritized. And capacity planning is just it's another term to describe, hey, planning for your team's amount of work that week, that month, and how you can maneuver that and manipulate that so all the work gets done, nobody feels burnout or overworked. I know that's a very common theme, with my 12 years of working with accountants. One thing that they always say, especially around this time, it's like this dark cloud that's coming, right? We're going to start working 70, 80, 90 hours a week, if not more. And they've got that pit in their stomach. Well, what if our solution that Tim, talked about is we want to remove that pit from your stomach. We want to remove the dread of tax season so that you're well prepared and you know that you've got a lot of work coming. They're going to be busy weeks, but you feel comfortable and you are stress-free as much as you can be when tax season actually gets here.
Right. And so let's talk about time, and we touched on that and how utilizing a solution, like Mango helps distribute the workload, helps you manage your time better. So if I bring on a practice management solution, let's say I'm brand new, again, I've got a 5-person firm, and I bring a solution on, how much time is that going to take me to get, or my staff to get up to speed where we're effectively using this tool? Because we're tiny, we're 2 full-time people and then some couple of people in the Philippines and then a couple of other 1099s, but and we have so many pieces of software, it's ridiculous. And we don't use any of them well. We use a piece of this one well, we use a piece of this one okay, piece of that one okay. But if I'm onboarding a tool like this, like Mango Practice Solution, that's going to really run my firm, how much time am I going to have to invest?
That's a great question.
I could take that one, Caleb. So we have an implementation team that will, whatever solution you're coming from, we import all the data, all your clients, all your open time, all your open invoices, even historical invoices. So we take care of that piece. We typically have a standardized procedure for getting the data into the system. We review that, make sure everything balances out, your accounts receivable balances, your open time balances. Next step is training. And this is to your point. So we have different levels of training. If it's a large firm, we have a training just for staff that are tracking time. We may do a training just for managers, maybe a training for partners, because it's a different, they may be involved with the staff for the time tracking, but the staff don't need to know the managerial tasks within the platform. So
right.
It's really very, very streamlined. We do the implementation, we do the training. Now, next steps are, how do I get my engagement set up at the client level? How do I get all my projects set up? So for project management. So we have some very, very nice batch utilities that I can sign out all my 1040 tax engagements to my individual type clients. So you can segment your client list. These are my individual clients. These are my partnership clients. These are my corporation clients. And with that segmentation, we have utilities built in that I can now assign out a 1040 project to all my 1040 clients. So it doesn't take long to spin up a project management solution, and it is a perpetual. Once it's set up, you complete the project. If it's an annual type of a project, it will automatically create the next year's project for you. So once your implementation is done, your setup is done, a lot of the system is perpetual. It's going to maintain itself. So project management is very easy to spin up. Clients we import, we can batch assign engagements out to those clients, so you don't have to do it one by one. We have many batch utilities for assignments for partners, billing partners, managers. all kinds of things, so you don't have to do them a one by one. We've been through it enough and implemented enough firms by now that we've been able to streamline the process. I've actually implemented a firm, believe it or not, in the middle of tax season that had multiple offices, and he was just stuck in his software solution, needed to get out of it, get up and running. I did it over a weekend and had him up and running by a Monday and Tuesday. I did training with his staff on Monday. I said I would have everything ready to go Monday. We trained his staff, and he never looked back. He's loved it ever since. So,
I mean, implementation and migration, wicked lightning fast. And it doesn't ever stop there. That's just getting them in the door. Like, you had mentioned this, Gary, you all use a lot of different solutions within your tech stack, and use this kind of well and use this kind of well. Well, that is very common. You're not alone. A lot of people fall into that bucket. And one thing that we've done to try to remediate that, especially with our entire family of software solutions, not only with Mango, but ProfitSolv as a whole, is we have a large schedule of weekly webinars, more so trainings than webinars, where you can join in one-on-one or just small group sessions where we'll walk you through, hey, you're learning how you need some training around payments and how to send payments and all of that. We're going to walk you through that. We believe that we're going to hold your hand until you tell us, hey, enough, I got it. Right. We'll leave the training wheels on as long as you need them, but at some point you'll be ready to go faster, and we'll actually be keeping you from doing that. So we try to give all of our customers plenty enough time to feel comfortable, but to Tim's point, it doesn't take them very long to get off to the races.
Right. And do you find they're typically coming from another solution, or are you finding firms out there that just really don't have a stack or a firm management solution in place?
I was going to say there's two different camps. There's one camp of our customers that are coming from other solutions. Maybe it is a decentralized tech stack, so they're using a lot of different platforms, similar to you, maybe, where they're using a lot of these different platforms. The platforms don't really talk to each other. There are integrations, but they're kind of broken, or they don't work exactly how they wish they would. So that's one camp of people who come to us. And the great thing about Mango, it's all in one. Everything you would ever need is right there in the platform. We made sure it was an all-in-one type solution, so accountants don't have to be using multiple platforms. So that's the one camp. The other camp is accountants and bookkeepers who are running their firms, and they don't have anything. They're overwhelmed. So they don't have anything. They're overwhelmed with the amount of paperwork they have. They're still working out of file cabinets. They're using notepads and all these different I would call them analog solutions to keep up with all the different things that they've got going on. And they're tired of it. They're just sick and tired of it, and they want something that's easy to use, accessible anywhere. If they leave, they don't need the filing cabinet anymore because everything is in one platform. I would say those are the two like customer profiles that we see most. Is like a decentralized tech stack where everything's not talking to each other right, or they're just overwhelmed with paperwork and they really don't know where to start, and they've never made that move to the cloud, and they for some reason they've decided, hey, I'm sick and tired of this. I want something easier.
And manage their lives a little bit better, right?
Yeah, that's a good analogy there, Caleb. I mean, I think every CPA firm has certain pain points. It could be in their document management solution. It could be in project management. Maybe the platform they're using, they're not happy with the invoicing or whatever it may be. But we found that when we bring them over to Mango with the all-in-one type solution, they can actually eliminate some of their other platforms that they're using and bring it all under one hood.
Okay. So let's, before we run out of time, integrations. What are key integrations that you work with currently? And is there anything on the roadmap?
Sure. I'll take that away. So first and foremost, we integrate with QBO, QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop. We have a scheduling feature built into the platform, so we integrate with Microsoft Outlook and, of course, Google Calendar. We have a nice feature in there where we can export out and we can push client information, client emails to a third party for blasting emails out. For example, if you want to do reminders to your clients, certain times of the years, Christmas lists, whatever, we facilitate getting the client information over to MailChimp. You can design a beautiful template, email it out. Some of the other integrations are, trying to think here. It kind of caught me off guard.
That's right. That wasn't on our cheat sheet.
I know we have more. We
apologize.
have many more.
Did you mention Google, Tim? Like
Google,
Google's a big one. I know
You
that
work with Xero? You work with Xero yet?
not yet. Obviously, we work with our integrated payment solution. Mango Payments is a very, very good integration.
your tax software. We integrate.
Oh yeah,
You know,
we support 5 different tax vendors for
Okay.
some CPA firms are still doing their invoices in their tax software, or they're updating their client information primarily in their tax software. We can bring that information from the 5 different tax vendors into Mango. We can import those invoices in so they don't have to recreate those invoices in Mango. I will tell you some of the very cool integrations that we're coming up with shortly. We are going to integrate with the IRS. So we want to be able to bring tax transcripts right into the platform. We have what I call client 360 view, where all information is in that client area. We want to bring that into that 360 view for the client tax transcripts. Another big one, since we already have calendar integrations, we're going to have a Calendly-like feature, whereas it's a self-service appointment system whereby clients can go onto the website, click a button, they can see availability for Kaleb, whoever it may be. They can book their appointment, they can cancel their appointment, they can move their appointment. So that's a big feature that's coming. I know we have some other integrations. I can't think of them off the top of my head.
those are definitely the major ones. But what we try to do when we were, determining what do we want to integrate with, I mean, luckily we have the founder, Tim, who's an actual practicing CPA. He's had a firm for over 35 years. We asked accountants, hey, what do you want? Because it always came back to, we didn't want to make something, we didn't want to integrate with something or create a feature even, Gary, if it didn't resonate with accountants, if accountants wouldn't get excited about it. And so our philosophy has always been, if this is something that an accountant could use, not just once, but multiple times, it brings value to their day-to-day, how they work in their firm day-to-day, week to week, month to month, and year to year. It's worth us doing that. There's some companies out there that they integrate with literally everything under the sun. How well they do it, I couldn't speak to that, but we've tried to identify what are those must-have integrations that we can integrate with, and we'll do them very well. And again, making sure that what we're choosing is exactly what an accountant would be looking for.
Okay, absolutely. So 2 more things. One, 2024 roadmap. Anything else that's on the roadmap? Tim, you touched a little bit on a couple things that are on there. Anything else that you can share now? Yeah. I know there's probably some things on the roadmap you can't share, but
no, I'm happy to share because we're very excited about it. I mentioned the IRS tax transcripts. I mentioned the Calendly-like feature. A big one we're bringing in. We already have transactional emails in the platform for emailing out statements, notifications to staff, clients, statements, etc. Another big one is we're bringing in integrated email. So this is a big feature regarding client collaboration. So for example, instead of everybody having their own separate inbox and they're communicating with the client, all those emails will now be consolidated in one place under the client. So I can see staff A communicated with the client, staff B communicated with that same client. So now you have all client communications centralized in the Mango platform. So if I want to go into a client and I want to see all the email communications that have gone to that client for no matter what staff person, sent that email and how that client responded, that manager, that billing partner now can see all that communication in one place. So that's huge. We're going to leverage that even further, since we don't like to promote getting documents attached to emails. We like to get documents securely, obviously, but there'll be drag and drop functionality where if there are attachments, maybe it's an IRS notice, whatever it might be, I can now drag and drop that to a project. I can associate that document now to a project. And now I have everything related to maybe an IRS resolution type project. All the communications, PDF documents, letters, whatever they might be on there. So you had mentioned integrations. I think we're also looking at Zapier, however you want to pronounce it.
Yeah.
That we can now open up our API a little bit, and I'll open us up to the world of integrations that could be customized by our clients.
Gotcha.
So yeah, a lot of good ones. I mean, we're real excited about the email integration, the Calendly. We live in the world of appointments nowadays. And for clients to be able to schedule their own appointments, put time on the calendar, obviously you can block off your time on your calendar so they can't fill up your calendar, but just giving the clients the convenience of being able to make appointments without having to call in to make an appointment, it's a big feature. So that's it in a nutshell. A lot to do for 2024.
Yeah, well, that's great. But you've got the powerhouse behind you to make all that work. So that's fantastic. And so 2024, we'll wrap up on how do people connect with you? How do people find you? What trade shows you're going to? Kind of what's on that list?
Yeah, you can find us at mangopractice.com, MANGO practice.com. You can look at our features, different products that we offer, pricing, schedule a demo. All of that is on our website. We're also on, of course, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the socials. As far as shows that we're going to, we actually have quite a list, and we're adding to it. I know that we'll be at SEMA June 3rd in Vegas. Come say hi. I'll be there. Scaling New Heights in Orlando. We'll be there. So the upcoming ones, those are the two. I know we're going to NATP's Taxposium. We'll be going back to that one. We were at QuickBooks last year. We'll probably be at QuickBooks again. QuickBooks Connect.
Yeah.
And that's just what we've got planned so far. But we're planning on making the rounds and getting to meet people.
Yeah. There's no shortage of events to spend your money and time at. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I think you have to be selective, but I would imagine, so kind of the timing around, COVID. So I guess your company became part of ProfitSolv right before or kind of during COVID. But you picked up a lot of resources about the same time when everybody's having to work from home. Everybody needs a solution that allows them to be connected outside. Now we're coming out of it. So it's a great timing to be able to go out and get in front of people and say, look, here's what we've done over the past 3.5 years. And here's how it impacts your practice.
Yeah. That's what I get excited about the most, is not only talking about Mango, but just talking to other accountants. And I'm sure you're the same, Tim, is just getting to kind of talk shop a little bit with them, learn how they're doing things. Like I've said, we're built by accountants for accountants. And the best way for us to continue to evolve is just spend time with them, understand the problems that they're going through, understand that, they're working these long hours, especially during tax season, and it's draining. That's keeping them from doing things that they want to do, perhaps even like spending time with family. I know we've all got families, and that's important to us. And so our goal is to understand those problems so we can create a solution to help solve them. And trade shows are a great place and opportunity for us to do that.
For sure. So, all right. Anything in closing?
I don't think so. You were real nice. You were gentle, Gary.
Well, we try. We're Southern. Just like you. Well, I am. Bob's not. Bob's New Jersey New Jersey background, so he's not Southern. So, all right. So, I guess first time. Well, I'm going to come up to Knoxville very soon. And then, Tim, where are you? You're in Florida now, but you kind of go between Florida and where?
I'm between Maryland, Aruba, and now South America.
Oh, so no Florida. Did I just make Florida up?
Yeah, Florida's only if I happen to go there on vacation.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So Aruba, South
Maryland,
America, and Maryland.
I'm right outside the DC area, Washington,
Okay.
DC area.
All right. Well, if I'm ever in Aruba, I'll look you up.
Be happy to see you in Aruba for sure. They call it one happy island.
Yeah. Oh, now this is totally has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but do you read much? Do you like read for pleasure?
Certainly.
So do you ever read Michener, James Michener?
I have.
So it's a brutal read, right? I mean, the guy is amazing. Yes.
Thick books.
Yes. Yeah. So I just finished Caribbean is how he says the proper way to read it. You should read it. It's a brutal read. It's like all of his books. It's very hard to read, but it gives you an amazing history of the Caribbean.
He did Chesapeake. I think he did Chesapeake.
That's my favorite. The number one all-time favorite book is Chesapeake.
Yeah, and I said a thick book, but I don't read thick books anymore. I read on the Kindle now, so an electronic device. But back in the day, I did read his books that were thick.
Tim just took his book reading to the cloud.
Right, there we go.
To the cloud.
He's 100% cloud. Everything.
I can read my book no matter where I'm at without taking the book with me.
There you go. Perfect. So, all right, well, read that one, put that one on your list.
I will.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. Enjoyed the conversation. Kaleb, I'm going to make my way up to Knoxville pretty soon, but I'll give you a shout ahead of time.
I would love to.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate it.
Have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.
This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you in part by Xero. Xero is a powerful cloud accounting software that improves efficiencies across your practice. With all client data stored on a single unified ledger, you and your clients can easily access and collaborate on the same set of books. Xero's advisor tools and automation solutions reduce time-consuming manual tasks and put data entry on autopilot. Work faster and more efficiently than ever before with Xero. Visit xero.com/accountinginsiders to learn more.